you gotten your reaction yet to be reunited with Odell and you and Jarvis? What's it like for
It's a great thing. Just sitting in meetings and they were kind of shaking their heads, saying, "Wow, this is different." Because being in the meeting room with them at LSU was a good thing, and then to be here, so it's kind of surreal.
Were you pretty instrumental in helping Odell kind of get his mind wrapped around being here and getting acclimated to the whole training?
Of course, there's a lot of questions because change is always difficult, right? So when you change, you're so accustomed to doing one thing, and you kind of want to know the lay of the land and where to stay, what to do, and the food and just the people, the culture here, and how good Freddie is being the head coach and what type of coach he is, and so, but he's getting very comfortable now. So.
Are you at all disappointed that you know the kind of player Beckham is, but the fact that he chose not to be here disappoint you at all?
I mean, it's voluntary, so far as being here, you would like him to be here. But again, because of the rules, I mean, it is voluntary.
Are you still a little bit surprised that he would want to come and be part of the install, getting to know his teammates and all that sort of stuff?
I mean, he's been here a couple of days, and for us knowing he'll be back, but that's one of the things that happens with the collective bargaining agreement.
How often are you in contact with Odell, with Jarvis? I mean, is it pretty constant because of the relationship that you guys have?
Yes, all the time we talk. He's always asking football questions and things like that. So he's got a good football brain, and so constantly. So even when I wasn't coaching at LSU, I was in San Fran, and he was in New York. I talked to him all the time. So I've always talked to him.
So what's it going to be like to have Jarvis and Odell out on that field getting the ball from Baker Mayfield this year?
It could be pretty special, but again, we got a long way to go. It's something that you look forward to, potentially on paper. It's something that's good, but just getting the rapport to me to you, things of that nature. We got a quarterback that can throw it with great leadership, and with Freddie's mind and the play calling, we'll be in a good situation.
Coach, does Odell get a bad rap in terms of talking about him being selfish and not a team guy?
Most definitely,
Why is that?
because most people don't know him. So, being in a market, at the other places, they welcome media, and so a lot of times, people don't always write the good stuff, But if you talk to anybody in the locker room and things that he does for his teammates, they would tell you.
How would you describe the real Odell?
Very passionate, sincere, plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's just a guy who loves to compete. He's a competitor.
How difficult is it when you have to go through these practices without your top three guys? Is that tough at all?
No, it's state of course. This is my 23rd year coaching, so it's part of the process. Being in different places, they do things differently. But again, it is optional. You just go through the process, and my job is to get the guys who are here better.
Freddie and Baker, last time we talked to him, mentioned they saw a big improvement in Antonio from when he showed up last year to this year. Do you see that, and where do you see his improvement?
Oh, most definitely. For his just routes, getting crisp, getting in and out of routes, for his burst, for his plucking and catching the ball. So a couple of things that we worked on, this offseason, I'm very, very inspired by where he's going in his progression. So it's still a process. He's still a young player, but there are strides being made.
Adam, as the position coach with the Giants, you were often the guy during a game when Odell would have a problem on the sideline. You were the guy that had to kind of talk him off the ledge. Do you think those days are over, or are you waiting to find out?
I don't think it's not even think. It's not something I had to talk him off the ledge. It's just in his mind. Sometimes he gets himself fired up, and he likes that, and so again, you have to use that as a positive, not as a negative, because there's so many people that are watching you. During the course of the game, there's always cameras on it. So people are enamored by him. So it's one of those things where every move is watched carefully. But as far as him being in control, I mean, there's times on the sideline I've seen him where he was hurt in the Baltimore game, shouldn't have even played. I thought he was out, and he was like, no, I can play. And he took a slant to the house. Like, the things that he do, there's no way he should have played. But he did it.
Mm-hmm. And is some of that just the frustration with losing that causes those kind of behaviors?
No, it's just that certain times you get frustrated, for what's going in the course of it. So you can only control what you can control. Being a receiver on offense or even a running back, if you can just control the plays that you get the ball and contribute and do what you can. So a lot of times he's so competitive that a lot of times it get conveyed.
Do you feel like the relationship that you have with him will be very beneficial, to him this year and just kind of helping him? I mean, it's hard to go from a team that you've been with your whole career to
Right.
a new place. Do you feel like this is going to be one of the reasons that he'll thrive here with what you guys have?
Most definitely, and with Jarvis also. It's just to help the transition with it. And so just having contact with him and the relationship is going to help the transition. But again, a lot of the onus is on him,
Where were you March 12th when this went down? What was your reaction like? I mean,
Well, I had a lot of text messages. I had over 400 text messages, so it was crazy, and people were calling, and I had an idea but didn't really know, and it was crazy. And I remember talking to Jarvis, and Jarvis was like in tears, and it was just like, is this really real? So I was leaving, basically leaving the office.
did you have any kind of emotions the way Jarvis did, or what was
I'm
it
not
like?
really emotional that much. I kind of stay the same. I'm the youngest of 8, so I just kind of stay the same.
How did Jarvis and Odell make each other better?
Just in competition every day and pushing each other, just driving to be. I mean, if you do something, they coach each other up. So it's a form of peer pressure that's very positive.
Were you hoping to see that over the last few weeks? I mean, is there any sort of disappointment that they weren't out here to see that?
No, he's gonna work. He's a worker. He's a guy who works hard. He's always in condition. You got to save him from himself when he's practicing. So because he'll just go and go and go. He's like the young person with a ball. If there's a ball being thrown or kicked, he wants it. He wants to play. So even course of practice, offense may not be going, the defense is going. He's doing something. He's a busybody that way.
Do you feel like his best ball is ahead of him?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
What makes you say that?
Because he works hard at it, and if you look at it throughout his career, the first 5 years and what he's done, most people don't realize, missing the first 4 games as a rookie and to be on the path and to do what he's doing, it's not that many people have done that.
And what about the fact that he'll be getting the ball so accurately and so deep from Baker? What impact do you think that'll have?
That plays a part, but again, it's about football IQ because of what Freddie is doing in the offense. The biggest thing is you want a guy who has a good football IQ where you can move him around and you can produce touches. So he's not always in one static position where they can now, scheme him up and put 2 people on him. So he's a guy who has a brain where you can put in the backfield and move him around and do all kind of different things with him because he learns the picture instead of a position.
Can you speak to the development of Rashard Higgins over the last 2 years? Is he better than you've seen him, or?
Yes, he's progressing. He's a guy who's plays multiple positions, so he's like a jack of all trades, and so he's a guy who really knows his knowledge of it is really grown, and he fills in. He does whatever he needs to do. He's a good special teamer, and so I'm really pleased with his progression right now.
What's his greatest skill in his set?
He has a little savvy. He has some savvy with him, catching radius, finding spots and finding holes. He has a good rapport with Baker, so a me to you. So he's a guy who has a good football IQ.
Coach, did you recruit Landry and Beckham when you were at LSU? Were you involved?
No, they were there as freshmen. They went to the national championship game, and then that came after that. So I was with them with 2 years. Yes.
But you knew all about them.
Yes.
Hard not to.
Hard not to.
Was it hard to believe that you guys all wound up here together after all these years?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of surreal. I don't know. It's kind of awkward, but I just kind of take it and go. But it's something that it's like a storybook.
Yeah.
So you just kind of, follow along with the story and paint the picture. So.
What about the 2 of them together? Will there be any issue with them pulling on Baker to get me the ball more, get me the ball more?
No, they're like brothers. There's nothing, they're competitive, but they're brothers. They're going to try to make each other better. And you'll see at times at LSU, and, Odell's blowing the top off, and Jarvis is underneath catching a touchdown. They're pointing at each other, talking about thank you while he's going in the end zone. So it's one of those things.
What about the other side of this depth chart? Maybe the 4, 5, and 6 guys, the guys who are going to get a lot of reps out here when the top receivers are gone. What do they need to show you during OTAs and also during minicamp?
Just consistency, making plays on a consistent level, because they're going to be pushed and pulled in a lot of different positions and not stay in one position. Because you and I know, as you do the roster during the course of the season, there's attrition, so there's injuries. So you may be playing one spot one week and then you got to play another. So as you sharpen your skills and your football IQ to play multiple positions, and it's about spacing and timing and rhythm, and about distribution and getting the spots where you need to be. So the biggest thing is being where you need to be, when you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to be.
How beneficial? Sorry, how beneficial is it for these guys that maybe wouldn't get first team reps?
It's huge.
Just to get
It's
those reps
huge
with Baker?
because you get the reps with Baker, so it's a huge thing. So for them and taking advantage of them, the guys I'm pleased with the progression and taking advantage of it.
Do you think this market will be, sort of enough for Odell coming from New York? Is he going to be happy in Cleveland where, the bright lights aren't shining all the time?
I believe it'll be great for him because the fans are tremendous here. The fans are great. They're receptive to him, and they're going to let him be him and accept him for who he is. And I believe this is a great market for him and a great place for him.
Many believe that there's a need for maybe a bigger wide receiver. Dorian Baker made a few plays today. What is he working on, and what have you seen from him so far in OTAs?
There's all different types of receivers. You want big, small, whatever. And so he made a couple plays. And so just bringing him along, again, he's a rookie who just came in, so he's being thrown in and getting a lot more reps than he normally would get. And so it's going to be beneficial for him, especially in training camp, and to be able to show that and put that on the field when we get into the preseason.
Jalen Strong did not play last year because of an ACL, I believe.
Yes.
Is he showing signs of knocking off rust, or what's the state of him physically and mentally in this offense?
He's a guy who wants to practice all the time. He's like on me after meetings, coach, I want to practice. I said, just take your time and go through it. So you got to slow him down some. So he's a guy that I have prior relationships to him. When I was at LSU and he was in junior college, I actually recruited him. And so he ended up going to Arizona State. So he's a guy who I had some history with, and I know he's a kind of player. I love the way his body looks. He's leaner. He's thinner, and he's getting himself there where he needs to be.
Does he have the quickness and speed of prior to that injury, or is that still a coming?
That's still, it's coming. What I mean is, because when you're bigger, that's always a range or marginal because of catching radius. When a bigger guy is big, to be very fast is a plus, but he's a guy who has speed. But with that size, that's a plus. That's what you really want.